Welcome to another CMC podcast. In this series, we're interviewing the teams and team leaders of the GRIMP teams that competed in the GRIMP North America competition in March of 2022. Joining us today, we have the team captain of VDS, and I'm going to let him pronounce how that name goes, is Xavier. Xavier, welcome.
Hello, Doug. How are you doing?
Oh, very good. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. I'm very excited to have this conversation today with you. Yeah, that's great.
So we refer to it as VDS. How do you pronounce the name of your team?
VDS means Val De Sambre. Val De Sambre is a very small fire department. Most of the firemen working there are volunteers. And so it's not their main job. And only a small part are professionals. So I'm their team captain because actual team captain can join the GRIMP NA. So that's why they asked me to support them, to help them, to train them specifically for the GRIMP NA. So that's why I was competing this year with the GRIMP Val De Sambre.
Oh, very good. Yes, and it was very nice meeting you, meeting the rest of your team. So, yeah. So what got you interested in participating in the GRIMP North America? And I guess maybe we kind of need to divide this into two parts, right? What got you interested, and then also what got your team interested?
Yeah, to compete on a battleship like the USS Iowa is simply an amazing experience. We are Belgian, and in Belgium we don't have a battleship like this one. It's such an amazing experience to have this opportunity to rig, to use ropes inside of this boat, outside too. And and for us, told you, it's a very small fire department. It's a one-life experience. It's great. We are in LA doing rescue, what we love, and it's simply amazing. Simply amazing. We love it so much. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, we were so fortunate to be able to secure, the USS Iowa, not only once, but twice. So it's definitely a fun place for a competition. And maybe a kind of a backstory here for some of our listeners that may not be familiar. When in 2018, when we first started looking at putting together some type of competition, Xavier was actually came over and helped us kind of set up the framework for hosting a GRIMP competition. Now, he did not know where it was going to be or what any of the specific stations were going to be, but you really helped us put together the kind of the whole framework of the GRIMP competition with your experience from the GRIMP competition in Namur.
Yes, I was in charge of the technical part of the Grand Day. I did it for a couple of years, and when we start the discussion about a possible GRIMP challenge in North America, for me it was simply I had to help you for that because we are all part of a community, and this community keep growing all the time. We have no events in Europe, in North America, in Asia too. I'm sure of that in the future we will keep growing. It will be great. And CMC was so motivated to organize this event, and we had already all the possibilities with the different places you propose, like the USS Iowa, all talking about aircraft carrier. That could be great too. And so many possibilities. And what was great too, in the different already existing challenges in the world, you had the possibilities to organize something with the confined spaces. And it was something missing from my point of view. So that's why the GRIMP NA is such a great event, because we need it. So Namur is more, we have a big castle, very old walls, and now what you propose now with this battleship was simply amazing. And it's so great, and I'm very thankful for this. And it's great. It's great for the community. It's a very nice event. Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we definitely don't have any castles over here that we can use like you guys use in Namur. That is, what a backdrop for an evolution, huh? Yeah. So has your team that you were with this year, have they participated in any other competitions, like GRIMP competitions or something similar?
A very new team. My teammates did not have such a big experience regarding the ground techniques. Most of them have maybe a 3 or 4 years experience. It's not so much. And they've already competed one time in Namur for the Grand Day, and one time in Xavier for the Rescue Great Day. And they asked me to train them specifically for the confined spaces. I have some experience because of the army, I'm still providing training for what we call the Advanced Search Team. It's a team from the combat engineers, and those guys are they are doing work at air, rescue, and also confined space work. And their job is to find munitions or everything you can find in foreign countries. So that's why they asked me to help them, to train them. And I'd already had the experience from the first GRIMP NA, from the first edition. I was a team captain for Namur Fire Department. So I was probably the only one with experience in this team. So we did well, and I'm very happy about that. We did a great job.
Yeah, you obviously only saw your team in one of the scenarios, the wing void, and we'll talk about those in just a second. But I know you did very well in ours. So what did you mentioned that they asked you to train with them and to get them ready. So what did you do to prepare for GRIMP North America?
At first, I teach them different techniques regarding the mechanical advantage I'm using most of the time. Regarding the anchor points too, we have used specific anchor points. I don't know if I can do some advertising, but new anchor points on the market for the moment. The one from iWolf, it's a kind of beam clamp, a very light one, versatile, and it's working very well. We have also used the Rafa L from Innovate. We have also used textile ladders to move one stair to another one. It was faster for my teammates to move with ladders than using their crawl and their Juma and then to climb on ropes. So also to teach them how to use the spec pack. The spec pack we have used during the challenge, because it's something very specific for the confined space, and they had never used this before. So it was a new team, and they need to be trained from the beginning to the challenge. And the most difficult, the biggest challenge for me was to find the right places to train. We have used a training center for rope access. We have used old fortification around Namur. And we had also access to a SWAT team training facilities with confined space too. And that's what we have done to prepare this challenge. Yeah. It was a great experience. And what is great too with such a challenge, it creates strong links between the teammates. And this is also very important. The beginning, they were my teammates, and now they are very good friends. And that's something very important too for the job. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, very much so. And then the way that you interact with all the other teams too. It is,
for sure.
Everyone learns from each other.
I totally agree with you.
And it's interesting you mentioned some of the specific tools. I know that's one of the things that all the evaluators enjoy is watching, the teams and their flights and how they solve the problems, because everyone solves problems differently. And, there's some new tricks and some new tools out there. Like you mentioned, that the beam clamp from iWolf. Yeah, that was, a matter of fact, as soon as you put that on, I took a picture of it because I wanted to know more about it because that is really an interesting tool, and it opens up some new possibilities. I learned right away as soon as you pulled that out. It's like, that's a neat thing. So
what else I wanted to mention too is we received also some texture slings. It was simply amazing because all the sharp edge we had inside of the boat, those sangles don't need to be protected. It's already protected by themselves. And it was a great tool, and it was very helpful. We can move way faster because we don't need to protect all the time and to take care of the edges we had during our progression inside of the boat. So, it was a great tool. Yeah. And to prepare this event, I had to work on the technical level of my teammates. And I've also had support because of the new tools we received from the different manufacturers too. It was very helpful. Yeah, that was great. That's a part of the experience. Yeah.
Yes. So now we'll kind of run through the different scenarios here, and if you just kind of want to comment. The first one was room with a view. That was up on the not the stacks, but up on the mast there. Yeah. That's where you did the vertical litter evolution. So what were your thoughts on that one? Fly bridge. Yeah.
Yeah, the fly bridge on the top of the boat, but nearly on the top. Yeah. It was a great one. We had first to access to the victim as quick as possible. And from my point of view as team captain, it's always you have always to take care that you have to access as quick as possible to the victim, because the victim is the goal. Rescue is the goal. You have to to secure the victim as quick as possible. And what's a little bit special that we had first to climb on the rope, and then there was a knot to pass this knot. And I didn't have the time to prepare my guys, and we only trained for maybe 6 days together. And that's something I didn't know who was the best one to send, and the fastest one to send and to access the victim. So finally, all my teammates did well. It was a little bit my stress, but it was okay. And then we had to do the packaging of the victim on the top, and with the stretcher and everything. I've tried to keep it as simple as possible with 2 tension lines side by side with the clutches, and it was okay. And once again, I think that my guys did well. They did something very clean, and we didn't have any problem with this test. It was a good one. It was a good one, a good test. Yeah.
And definitely had one of the best views of all the evolutions, right? Up high on the flybridge here. So
the flybridge, yeah.
The other one that was outside then, that was up towards the top of the ship, were the stacks. So that was in between the 2 smokestacks. That was the reeve.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we did something special because we are on main lines on the top, and then we have a clutch on the load on the stretcher, and so the rescuer can use the clutch to let the stretchers goes down or goes up. And we secure this system with 2 Petzl ASAP, and so because we have only 6 ropes. So we have used 4 ropes for the system to pick up the victim and then to move the victim and the rescuer on another place. And the 2 first ropes we have used were placed to access to the victim as quick as possible. That's how we did this one. Probably the most difficult, just because we had to work on a very small place along the chimney of the boat. And you had only a place for 1 person at a time. So to go, and then sometimes to move on the side to leave enough place for my teammates to go and to come back. It wasn't so easy. It was something to manage correctly and properly, and but it was great. It was a great one too, with a view once again. Yeah, with a nice view.
Because wasn't able to see where you guys were. So you did kind of like an English reeve, but you used a clutch as your bottom pulley. So it has a progress capture and then an A-stap on this. Okay, excellent.
Every side, yeah. So
very creative. Yeah.
It was great. It was great. Yeah. But once again, we have new tools for the moment on the market, and the clutch simply game changer too for this kind of test of rescue. Yeah. And it's working very well. It's very efficient. It's game changer.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so we're going to go from the top of the ship down to about the lowest level you could get. And that was the catacombs. Yeah. So that was down those horizontal tunnels. How did you guys solve that one?
The only problem with this one, you can see the entrance, but you never know where it will stop. And what I love when I send somebody in a confined space is to have a kind of guideline. So I can estimate, I have 100 meters. I don't know in foot, but meters and foot sometimes for me is difficult. But we have 100 meter ropes. And so when I'm sending one of my first teammates inside of the confined space, I love knowing where they are exactly. And just by looking inside of our road back, I can estimate, it has already walked for maybe 15 meters or something like that. It's the way we are working all the time. So a little bit of stress every time that I'm sending my guys, because I don't know if at first they will find the victim, the timing it will take to find the victim. And then we have to do the entire packaging. So we have to progress all the time with all we need to do it, the stretcher or the spec pack. It depends. And the confined space, sometimes, with all our gears on our harnesses, it's not so easy to pass inside of the different holes we have in the boat. But it's great. Once again, that's what we are looking for such experience. And so we progress to the catacombs, and then on one moment I had to let my rescuer goes down. Then we have to move the horizontal, and then I think that was the one we had to climb once again.
Yeah, that's coming up. Yeah, that's Shaft Alley. Is the one where you went down over and up. Yeah. The catacombs is where you just went straight in. That was, and then that's, I think you had to package the patient in a sked. Yeah. You
Okay.
moved them towards that.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Yep.
I think that I was looking for a lot of security for my guys because once again you have the entrance, but you can imagine what's inside of it. So we had two ropes. I sent my first rescuer with 2 ropes, and then he progressed. And I was able to see him, and maybe 20 meters distance from me. I was still able to see his headlamp. Sorry. Then on one moment, he said, "Well, I found a victim already." it was a little bit of a surprise because it was straight on, but the most difficult was to do the packaging of the victim, and we had to take care of the comfort of the victim all the time. But it was funny because it was straight on, and from my point of view, I've placed 2 ropes. It was full security, everything we need. If we have to change the direction of if we had to build deviations, we had all what we need to do it correctly. But it was a surprise, but it was okay. It was funny. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
It was a good one.
Yes, that evolution ended up being the fastest for most of the teams, and it really wasn't very technical. But you had to work as a team to move the victim when that sked all the way through those very, very small hatch openings. Yeah,
it was very physical. It was very physical for my 2 rescuers.
Yes,
it was a great one. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, remember that one.
Then the next one was Broadway. That was where they used the vortex. Broadway, right?
Yeah, and it was a search and rescue because the victim has hyperthermia in a confined space.
Mm-hmm.
We had absolutely no idea how far the victim was, and we had to use a tripod. And the entrance wasn't so big with a kind of protection in the way. It wasn't so easy. We need to access to the victim as quick as possible and to send my first rescuer once again as quick as possible. I was a little bit scared when we opened the gate, because it's a combat ship and you can never estimate how big are the doors or something like that. And when we opened it, we had just enough place to pass without any problem. And I was a little bit scared about that, but it was okay. And then my guys progressed for a couple of minutes, and the biggest stress was to be able to find the victim as fast as possible. And then the victim wasn't so close from the rescuer, from the tripod, from my rigging team. So we had to package the victim and then to find the best way to bring the victim as close as possible so we can lift her to the top and then to secure everything. Yeah, it wasn't so easy, but it was a great one. Once again, this is one of my favorite. Yeah, it looks like a real rescue. It was very close from a real one, and then I love it so much. Yeah, it was a great one. Yeah.
And for our listeners, what the area where they had to raise them up, that came into it's like main hallway, if you will, of the battleship, and it's nicknamed Broadway because it's a big wide open hallway. Unfortunately, the hatch is offset to one side, right against a wall with all kinds of wires and plumbing, and then there's a safety bar that goes over the top of that hatch. That's about a foot and a half or so above. That's right in the way of moving the victim in and out. So
what we use as mechanical advantage to lift the victim, it was a 2-to-1. All my stuff with me, I know that I have team bags. And so every teammate have 2 bags to carry in the boat. So sometimes it's difficult. And we have what we call the safety bag. And inside of the safety bag, we have already a 2-to-1 mechanical advantage pre-rig with a petzl protraction on the top with a swivel. And then we can use to lift the victim, because the load of the victim is already split in 2. We can use the crawl of the rescuer, and just is doing what we call squat, and then the victim is going up, and it's very fast, it's very efficient too. And we keep it all the time next to the entrance. So if we need it, I can ask to my guys, send them the rescue bag, the security bag. And if they have to do something to have a mechanical advantage as quick as possible, everything is already prepared on the side, and that's the way we are working too. Yeah.
They kind of, I think in the US we call that a drop loop 2-to-1, and then going through some kind of a progress capture. And then, like you say, using your Kroll on your chest harness to be able to squat down and use your body weight, which is a lot. Several teams use that on several of these evolutions very successfully. So another really good takeaway. Yeah. And maybe one other comment here too for our listeners, just as we're talking about some of these devices, that was really kind of it was a difficult decision to say, what should we have teams bring of their own versus what should we supply, being we have teams coming from all around the world, and certain things are very hard to travel with, like a full-size litter and so on. So we provided Arizona Vortex in the stations that needed it, the full-size litters, skeds, and the Dragon Lift, basically a half sked with a harness in it. Yeah, so those we provided for the teams to use, and we did do a training session the day before, so the teams that weren't super familiar with them, knew how to use them then when the time came. But that way it prevented people from having to travel, and try to ship that from overseas. So, but yeah. So then the next one was Shaft Alley. That was the one you were talking about where we had to go down, over, and then up.
Yeah.
So what?
That was a stressful one too, because when you arrive and you received my briefing, I was saying to myself, well, looks to be a long one too, and you have a timing to respect. We have 90 minutes, and so the 90 minutes include the briefing to my teammates, and we have and the time will finish. We have a box, and when all the gears and all the staff, all the teammates are inside of the box with the victim, the time will stop. So we have to hurry up, and at first to secure my guys, prior to rig all my stuff. So we did it with a grillon, and it wasn't so easy to find the best anchor points to secure this grillon, because there were a lot of tube on the roof, but some of them were with asbestos. So it wasn't possible to rig everywhere, and then when we finish this part, we can access to the entrance and then start the ringing and send the first rescuer. So it was challenging. And once again, we had to progress to a place and always looking to find a victim. So like a search and rescue. And then we had to climb, and then we finally found the victim. For this one, we used the rescue bag, the security bag with the pre-rig 2-to-1. And I asked my teammates to send this back to my rescuer, and we did the package of the victim, and then to let the victim goes down, then to move to the entrance, and then to lift once again the victim, this rescue back. That's why we are using a protection, because I already taught using a clutch, but the only problem that I have with the clutch is that if you open the protection, you leave the gate open, you can pull it, and so it can go to the top. You can anchor it, then to release the capture system, then you can lift your victim to the top. But you can do that with a clutch. That's a pity, but but it works well. It works well once again with the 2-to-1 for this. Simply amazing. Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah.
But we had only one problem with this one. We lose a radio. One of my teammates has lost his radio. It was a little bit problematic, but we find a way, and the problem was solved. Because with the holes you have, once again, it's very difficult. You have to anchor correctly all your stuff, and we weren't so well prepared for that. So we use what we call tie wrap to fix our radio and everything. But it was okay. It was a good one too. Yeah.
Good. The sixth scenario then was that, and this is the one that that I saw you guys in action on, was 2 years ago or 3 years ago. We called it the Wing Void, which is the name of the space. This time it was renamed You're Not Going to Like This, and probably a very appropriate name. Yeah, because nobody really liked it. It's a pretty tight, dirty place in the ship. So,
but it was probably the most challenging one. Because once again, you have the entrance, but you have absolutely no idea the direction it will take. So when I send my first rescuer, I'll tell him, well, this direction is A, B, C, D. It's also the system we are using to give direction when we are working as firemen. And that's also the way we are working. And with the radio, he told me the direction he's taking, and then it's moving, is going down for maybe 6 or 7 meters. Then there is a second access, and it's going down once again. And on one moment, he was moving all the time, and I was thinking to myself, it will never finish. And with a 100-meter ropes, it will never be enough. So I was a little bit scared about that. And that's the place we have used. We have used the anchor point from Iowa on the beam. And to combine this anchor point with the Texora slings, well, it was very helpful. And to do the redirection, and we were pulling from outside of the confined space, but I think that it wasn't the best way to do it. And maybe in next time, I don't know if it will be next time, but I will split all the mechanical advantage. It will be easier, faster. I think so. I believe.
And it's interesting you say that because the teams that did the same thing you did on some of the other ones, that drop loop 2-to-1, those are the teams that actually that completed that evolution the fastest, were the ones that had the vertical hull systems. When you change direction, went outside, that it definitely slowed down. But some of the teams that did that still completed, and we did have a couple, and then obviously there are some teams that weren't able to complete it in the 90-minute time frame. So you guys did. So it was, but yeah, and again, that's, I think, a really good thing where it's fun as an evaluator to watch the teams and how you guys solve the problems, because we learned so much. And I learned a lot from watching your team, just some of the ways you set up your systems and some of the new equipment and so on. It was very interesting and definitely learned a lot. So some good takeaways for all of us.
Thank you.
Some of the scenarios were challenging for some teams and then much more straightforward or easier for other teams.
It's always difficult to say because, well, I know some of them. I know some of the other teams for years now. We are very good friends. And to say that one challenge will be easier for that team or for the team, it's very difficult to say. I have no idea exactly how to react. All what I can say is that most of the challenges are so there were very close from the reality. And that's something very interesting too for our job, because that's why finally we are looking, and that's what will be helpful for our job. So that's why challenges like the Grand Penney are so great for the community, and that's we need. And keep working like this, you guys. You did a great job. It was amazing, simply amazing. Once again, amazing experience. Yeah.
We had a lot of great help from all over. A lot of people that have competed before helped as evaluators, and we just had so much help from the entire rescue community to put this on. We really appreciated it.
Yeah, you guys from running elevated safety. I guess like this,
Ronan elevated safety.
Yes, from the
departments that competed. Yeah, we really were fortunate. So, what's your best takeaway from the event, or maybe your team's takeaway? Maybe the best takeaway for your whole team.
Everything, because once again, the location is simply amazing. Never have this possibility to train again in such a boat. My guys had not experience, now they have. So everything is positive. I received very good feedback from my teammates, and they love it so much. And some of them, it was a little bit pity that the duration was only for 3 days and not for 4 days or 5 days, because they love it so much. It's simply, it's very positive. It's very positive. And for the listener, the guys who want to be part of such an event in the future, well, they have to do it. They have to do it. They need to do it because it's simply what we need. And I've already heard sometimes that the challenges are not good for the rescue, but from my point of view, it's not true, because if you can do the test, because I have no idea what the organization has prepared for me as a test, and if you can react very fast as a team leader, is very positive. It's very positive for the teammates too. Regarding the techniques, it will be great, and you will learn new techniques too, and you will test new equipment. My feedback regarding the Grand Penney is very, very, very positive. Yeah.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
So do you think that you or your team pick up anything at the event that you're going to be able to use, back in, Belgium on the job, on the fire department as a rescue team member? Were there anything specific that stood out that you're going to be able to, yes, we're going to do this if we have this type of rescue?
The 2-to-1 mechanical advantage was very positive. The Rafa, once again, it's simply a game changer too. Sometimes it can be you don't need tripods anymore. The Rafa can help you very well. If you can place the right anchor point on the right place, it's simply game changer. And with the Rafa, with the iWolf beam plan, with the Texora slings, you have all what you need to do that. So I'm nearly sure that in the future, more and more rescue team will use it, will buy it, and use it during their real rescue. Yeah.
Excellent.
So no, it was simply positive. Yeah, very positive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you recommend participating in an event like GRIMP or some other type of competition to rescue teams throughout the world?
Yes, for sure. I will. Once again, at the beginning, I start training guys. Yes, I know them, but no, they're truly, really friends. You learn also a lot from the other teams. You know, for example, the guys from Ronin, I know them for a couple of years now. And for example, I will see them next week. I will see them once again in Sevilla, and this summer too. It looks that they are not more friends; they even part from the family. So yeah, they are great guys. I will in September. Some people from Elevated Safety will be in Belgium too. So it creates links between our teammates, links between the different teams. And we exchange technique a lot. We have discussion. Sometimes we have training together. And and that's why really all the techniques, all the security will progress. And so challenges like the Grand Pene, like the Grande, like the Rescue Red Day in Sevilla, like Chow in Taiwan. Well, they are all great events with different possibilities, with different tests, with different location. And that's what is so exciting. So, well, if someone wants to start training and start training specifically for this kind of challenge, it will be game changer. And his technical level will be way higher. It's my point of view. And it's an amazing experience. Yeah.
Oh,
and it's
very well said.
For the team buildings too. We traveled for a couple of days in the States, and we went to Vegas with the team. We stayed there for 2 days. So you can fully imagine that it creates strong links. Yeah, it was great. It was a great experience. Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. Anything else you'd like to comment on or add? Okay.
I hope to be part of the next edition. And once again, it's just like a dream. It was a great experience. And my feelings is very, very positive once again. And it's a pity that the duration is not for 4 days or 5 days, because I'm in. I will stay there a little bit longer without any problem. Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Excellent. Well, thank you again for participating and bringing a team over from Belgium, and thanks for joining us here on this podcast. I really appreciate it, and it was an honor to work with you again. It's I always learn a lot from you. I really appreciate it.
You know, Doug, it's always a pleasure to meet you, to have a discussion with you, and I hope to see you very soon. Maybe in Belgium. I don't know if you are planning to travel in Belgium in September, but however, you are always welcome at home, and we'll grab some beers together.
Excellent. Well, thank you. And I'd like to thank our listeners for joining us on another CMC podcast. Thank you.